Hello, hello. This is Danica with Motivated Minds Publishing, and I just wanted to come on and give you guys a update. I wanted to give you guys a update on what occurred with me on yesterday. I stepped out of my comfort zone. I really did. I stepped out of my comfort zone. Was I nervous? Was I scared? Was I a little anxious? To be honest, not really. I had a tad bit of anxieties, but it wasn't anything that kept me from flowing, kept me from being organic, kept me from just speaking my truth and just being who I am. A new author. And what did I do? I did a television segment with one of the local stations in my area. Yeah, so that is something I want you guys to do. I want to challenge you to reach out to your local television stations and see if they have any type of programs where they interview up and new coming authors, where they do any new events that's happening in your community, in your area. And that's what this segment was. We call it River City Live. It's called River City, and they bring in and do new tapings with new restaurants, new authors, anything new that's happening. So get tapped in, and go out and vocalize. Hey, I'm a new upcoming author. This is what I have going on. These are my books. Um, I'm open to working with schools, libraries to get the word out, doing workshops. And that's another thing. I will be participating in the Book Fest workshop that's going to be coming up in our city September the 20th. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, I am stepping outside of my comfort zone. I am finding my voice. I'm letting people know I am here. I am here. And I talked a little bit about some of the mistakes I made, which was marketing. I talked about, new authors really needing to have a marketing strategy, having marketing knowledge. But I also talked about some of the things that I felt that I did right. And one of the things I really felt I did right was my very first book, Travis, Dental Visit, about this little boy, Travis, who had a ache in his mouth, and he decided to tell his mom, I'm not feeling my best, something is wrong here. And his mom set him up a dental appointment. And I just talked about the fact that I didn't grow up in a household where we had a lot of money. My mom didn't have a lot of money, so we went to what we call the community clinic. And it was actually a mobile vehicle. It was a big bus, and you step inside and you get the care you needed. But the difference is, because it was a community clinic and the services were free, you didn't have the hygienist or the dentist in there holding your hand, telling you what to expect. And I really felt that this book came from a place of experience and how it made me feel as a child to be a little afraid of going to the dentist. And sometimes when you are afraid, that will linger on into adulthood. And you hear a lot of people, I know I've heard a lot of people say, I don't like to go to the dentist. I don't like to hear that drilling effect. But it is ever so important for our kids to recognize that, having those dental exams 2 to 3 times a year to take care of your teeth. Healthy teeth, is healthy, is being healthy all over. So preventative care is very necessary. And we want to start teaching our kids that at a young age. So I talked a little bit about that book. I also talked about my new book, Claire's Running the Rain. I was able to talk about that, and that this book came from a place of just sitting in my car. It was raining. I was waiting for the store to open, and it was an overcast that day, and rain started to drizzle down. And I keep notepads in my car, and I was feeling a little misty that day for sure. Not sure if I was missing my mom because she's no longer here, or what was going on with me that day. Can't really pinpoint it, but I began to write and started writing about this little girl who took a run in the rain. And guess what? As the rain fell, her tears fell because it made her think about her relationship with her father, George, who is no longer with her. So, yeah, I talked about that book. And guess what else? I talked about my other book here, Baking with Auntie D, and the fact that it just took me back to having those memories with my grandmother in the kitchen when she would be whipping up sweet potato pie, sweet potato bread, homemade biscuits, cooking those collard greens, baking that barbecue chicken, blackberry doobie, and where we would congregate in the kitchen and just have family time. That is what we need. We need more family time, and we want our kids to read. And also, I just talked about the fact I don't want the parents just to give the book to the child. No, I want the parent, the auntie, the uncle, whoever to sit down and read this with the child. And you start having that bonding experience, having that bonding experience. We as adults, we need to be reading more. We know our children need to be reading more. And I really believe that this is my heart of heart. This is something that God laid on me. I'm not perfect at it. I am still learning. And I talked about that in the segment. But if you know that you have something in you, you got to continue on. You got to press forward. You got to come out of your comfort zone. I also talked about the fact that you can have hundreds and hundreds of books, but if no one knows your books are there, they're just going to collect dust on the shelf. And that's not going to do anything for anybody. You have a voice. People want to hear your voice. And of course, I talked about my other little book here, Exercising with Auntie D. Exercising with Auntie D. And of course, it's self-explanatory. We're exercising. We're hydrating. We're getting in the necessary fruits and vegetables. We're trying new things. We're getting from in front of the computer. Health is wealth. We're teaching our kids health is wealth. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. Hanging with Auntie D. And again, hanging with Auntie D. Building those memories. Building those memories with my nephews, my nieces, my cousins, that type of thing. Life experiences. You all have life experiences. Put it in a book if you feel that that is the direction that you are wanting to go. But you got to step out. You got to step out of your comfort zone. You got to get connected in your community. Volunteer to go in and read some excerpts from your books. Get in the know people. I've been working with this organization with young children, and it teaches them different habits for as staying away from gangs, resume writing, how to stay away from things on the internet, sharing pictures on the internet. And in that engagement, it's giving me more ideas, more concept, more creativity as to other avenues I can explore with my books. And you got to remember, you are building a brand. You are building a brand. And just do your research. Take your time and do your research. Do your research. It doesn't have to be something that happens overnight. Get into the constant flow, making time, put out some time each day, 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to work on X, Y, Z, or I'm going to put in a full hour here on this date to do X, Y, Z. Strategize. Have you a plan. Get you a plan in place. But if you are a new author or even a seasoned author, we got to stay engaged. We got to stay engaged, and we got to step outside of our comfort zone. That is the only way we are going to grow and develop in this saturated field, because the market, it is very saturated with children's books. But I am a firm believer. If this is for you, God will open up that door opportunity for you, but you got to make the first step. You got to get out there. You got to do something. You got to make it happen. You're not alone in making it happen, but you got to show up. So remember, just show up for yourself. Find that confidence, that courage. And Sometimes you have to do it afraid. Sometimes you have to do it scared. But remember, you are never alone. God is always with you. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care. Bye.